Hello and welcome to day 14 of Flash Briefing February. Today we are going to be speaking about your intros and your outros and why they are so important in your Flash briefings. My name's Suze Cooper. I am a presenter, news broadcaster on a local radio station here in Kent, and I also produce news for Google via London Evening Standard, and I work with Vixen Labs over in Shoreditch as well, creating skills and actions and all kinds of voice experiences for brands and businesses around the world. And myself and Peter Stewart have been bringing you the skill set, the mindset and the marketing to creating a better briefing all throughout February. And here we are on day 14 about to speak about intros and outros. So Peter, over to you.
We're halfway through, guys. Thanks very much indeed for watching and listening for the last 14 days. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day to you, Suze. She's a married woman, but you know, in a friendly kind of way. And I'm Peter Stewart, live from London town, as you can see behind me, from my penthouse suite overlooking the fantastic city, the best city in the world. My background is not only in working for a big British broadcasting company that I'm not allowed to tell you what it is, but it's quite obvious. Bizarre rules and guidelines. I also have various flash briefings, and also I contributed to the Oxford University and Reuters report in 2019 about voice, about smart speakers and so on, and also spoken at several conferences about voice techniques and flash briefings as well. So the importance then of the ins and outs of your flash briefing. We've spoken before about how you need to get to the meat and potatoes, how you need to get to the content as quickly as possible. So essentially what that means is if you've got a theme tune, don't let it go on for several seconds. Now, I have listened to a flash briefing before where the introduction music goes on for 10 seconds and then the presenter comes on and says in a slightly boring, tedious voice who they are, what it is they're doing, the name of the flash briefing again, what they're going to be talking about. And it's a good 20 or even 30 seconds sometime before they actually talk about the actual content, before they bring you anything of value. By that time, I've moved on. I've said skip to Alexa. I don't, and now, in fact, it's deleted. So I don't listen to that flash briefing anymore. What you need to do is you need to get in and out really, really quickly. The SAS, the Special Air Service, the elite force of military in the United Kingdom, one of their mottos, who dares wins. Another one is get in and out quickly. And that's what you've got to think about when you're producing your flash briefing, when you're presenting your flash briefing. So a couple of seconds intro, then say what it is that people can learn from you over the next 90 seconds or so, and then bring that to them almost immediately. Make them stay with that initial teaser. Tell them what it is that they're going to learn. Explain to them why it is worth investing their time in the next 90 seconds of their lives with you, and then get on with actually bringing them that main content of value. So get in quickly and make it valuable to them to invest their time in you. And then, of course, comes the content. We've spoken about the content before, and then the outro. Now, the outro is just as important because you've got various things that you want to pass on, various bits of information, various calls to action that you want them to do. And let's pop over to Suze for her advice on how you get out of your flash briefing.
That's right. So the outro is actually quite an important part of the flash briefing, because this is where you can encourage people to take action on what they've heard and perhaps point them off to somewhere else within your marketing strategy that might get them to sign up for something, follow you somewhere on social media, visit your website, all kinds of different calls to actions that you can come up with. Now, what you don't want is your outro to become an advert. People don't want to be listening to this 2-minute piece of content and for a whole minute of it to be a big advert, you kind of trying to hard sell whatever it is your brand or your business is trying to sell on to people. What you want is for it to be short and pithy and snappy and a really simple instruction to people. Remember, people are listening to these flash briefings while they're doing other things. It's not real kind of active listening. It is quite passive. So whatever instruction it is that you're going to give needs to be really simple and really easy to remember. So it might be that you want someone to follow you on Twitter. I've certainly used that call to action myself at the end of my briefing. Go along to Twitter, follow @BigTentSocial, and that sums up the end of my flash briefing. As I say, you might want to give a web address, and you might want to suggest that people download something, a bit like our VoiceWorks newsletter. Go along to voiceworks.info and download, sign up to receive our weekly flash briefing. There may well be something you can move them onto. Certainly a flash briefing can be used within a marketing strategy in that way, so that it is another one of your steps towards your funnel or whatever else it is that you might be looking at to try and push someone towards a product or downloading something online. And certainly it can be thought of and used in that way. So your call to action can be used as your outro and can actually be a really quite important part of your flash briefing. And it's another reason why the flash briefing should be short, because we want to make sure that people hear that last action, and hopefully they will take action on it as well. So what you want to do perhaps is to have a different call to action for every day of the week, perhaps change them up every month. Don't keep that call to action the same. Certainly be creative with it. Perhaps one day you might want to direct people over to your Instagram account. Another day you might want to send them to your website or your landing page. There's lots of different things that you can think of to use as a call to action in that space. So make good use of it, but make it short, pithy, make it snappy. So that's day 14. That's all about intros and outros during our flash briefing February. Peter, is there anything else that you've got to add about intros and outros?
I think also another thing that another call to action, and we could probably spend a short minute or so just talking about reviews and asking for reviews.
Cool.
Really important that you don't actually beg for reviews, but you do, once people have left you a review, it's quite nice, it's quite polite to thank them for doing that. Maybe read out what it is that they've said about you. It could be a bit flattering, so you don't mind doing that, but also perhaps mention the person that left that. People like to hear their name, like to have confirmation that the review has been left, that the review has been noted as well. Obviously, reading out a review is going to add time to your flash briefing. Probably best at the end then, so people can skip through it if they want to get to another flash briefing. Be careful when you're asking for reviews, you don't game the system, because there's a real temptation to start leaving reviews yourself for your own flash briefing, or to ask friends and family to leave reviews for you. These are people who've never actually experienced the flash briefing directly. Now, Suze, you perhaps know a bit more about this than I do, but I think that if you've got people associated with the same Amazon account, i.e. the same home address, it's going to be really difficult for them to leave a review for the same thing, because obviously that is kind of gamification, gaming the system. And also you've got to be careful about how recently you bought something from Amazon, because if you've got an Amazon account but didn't buy anything for the past 3 years, it's probably just not going to recognize that you exist much anymore.
That's right. It is a bit of a system. The whole kind of leaving reviews is quite a hot potato in the flash briefings world. I think you'll agree, Peter. But certainly they are quite tight on the fact that, like, my husband couldn't leave a review for my flash briefing because we are within the same account. We've got a shared Amazon Prime account as well, so they do kind of spot that in there. The other thing is, I think I'm right in saying that part of the regulations when you sign up and agree to the terms and conditions when you're creating your flash briefing is that you don't actually ask directly for reviews. So you kind of have to be, again, a little bit creative. You can't be hammering it over the head, hammering your listeners over the head with it every single day. It might be that you want to direct them to the skills store. You have to be a little bit clever with the way that you're asking for it, because that they will pick up on these things, and obviously your certification and authentication by Amazon is the reason that you're there doing the flash briefing. So you don't want them coming down on you and saying, no, you can't do it anymore because you've broken the rules. So do check that out in the terms and conditions when you're signing up to put your flash briefing together. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today's edition of Flash Briefing February. We're back tomorrow with more.
We are. We'll see you on day 15. Bye-bye.